Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another edition of the Same Old Arsenal USA. You know who I am. That's Stan. That's Glenn. There he is. Not even looking at the screen, but that's all right. We had a little bit of a post game on Saturday after the match. That's Ryan, fresh back from a week in Cabo. We can no longer call him Master McMurray now. We have to call him Mr. McMurray. Or excuse. Oh wait, no, you took her
Master.
last name. You took her last name, didn't you? So you're Mr. Murphy now. Anyway, lots to get to tonight. Obviously, we'll talk the Liverpool match from Saturday. We'll probably look ahead to Newcastle. I'm sure we'll get into that. Plus, who knows what else we'll talk about. But we're going to do it straight after this. So as always, we like to go around the horn and just check in with everybody. And I said right before we came on the air that I am in love with Stan's hooded sweatshirt. It's a full zip sweatshirt, right? Because I love that thing.
Yeah. Great color. Quite nice.
That's nice, man. I love that thing. Stan, how are you up there in the Pacific Northwest?
Very well, mate. Can't complain at all. It was my birthday yesterday.
Oh shit! So, happy birthday!
It was something that the missus got for me.
Nice.
So, yeah, good, mate. Had a full turkey for my birthday dinner. She said, "What do you want for your dinner?" I'm like, "A full turkey. I love full turkey, mate. Christmas dinner."
Yeah, we're getting ready for that down here on Thursday. We'll be doing.
So I'm basically going to be living on turkey sandwiches now for the next 2 weeks. But I love that.
Ain't nothing wrong with that, man. Little hot open faced turkey sandwich. Yeah, that is what is up. Keep it going here, Glenn, in New York. How are you, sir?
Hello, everybody. Good tidings to everybody watching live or watching on tape. I'm Glenn from AFC New York. I'm a little under the weather. Pushed myself to finish my Arsenal video today and post it on my YouTube channel, Glenn AFC New York. Good evening. It's great to be here.
Glenn, sorry you're under the weather, man. I feel better.
It's okay. I pushed myself and I smoked too much pot. So anyway.
Well, hopefully the weed helps get you through the show. Right?
No, I'm not that way anymore. I just whatever.
Okay, I got it. Moving on. Ryan, anything new to report for you? It's we haven't talked to you in 2 weeks. Did anything happen?
No, not really. I got this nice hat though. It's a nice new hat. It's looking good. I don't normally wear these, but I found it, so it's I'm gonna wear it.
Is there anything else?
I love that hat. That's like a little Peaky Blinders hat.
Yeah, I found it. I don't normally wear these kind of hats, but
gotta shave the side of your head. You look like you're writing the show.
Yeah, found it the day before I got married, so it must have been a good omen.
Wait, you got married?
Yeah,
that happened already.
I did a thing. Yeah, wow. Married. So getting married, I'm gonna lead into my beer of the week. Sour Cat, Batty Bridge and Tunnel Brewery. It's dry hop sour ale. We'll see how this is. I'm taking this beer to you, Stan. I know it's your birthday. Happy birthday.
Thanks, Mike.
And yeah, Sour Cat. I'm sour. I'm sour that I got married. Hopefully she can't hear me.
Already?
I'm sour. No, I'm kidding. I'm sour about losing 4-0 to Liverpool. I'm not upset. I'm not angry. But I'm sour. I mean, as a fan would be. And I'm sour that Tanner didn't recognize that this is his hat and it's not mine. I would never wear something like this hideous on my head. I'm very sour about this. So,
I forgot that I left that in your room.
Getting this fucking thing on. Anyways, so yeah, but very sour. But I'm sure we're gonna have fun talking to you guys. It's been a while, so I'm very excited to jump on into it.
Can I just say as well, Ryan, I knew that you were getting married soon. I didn't know it was just the other weekend. So congratulations, mate. To you.
Yeah,
thank you so much.
Megan, I hope the day went really well.
Stan, happy birthday, and Ryan, my condolences. Okay,
Yeah.
move on.
Wait, did you open my card yet?
I did. There was nothing inside. So
I know there was nothing inside.
I took the hat as hostage. No, I'm kidding. But it's funny. You know you had a good wedding when somebody from the wedding leaves the wedding venue immediately. One of my friends is like, "Oh, let's go to the after party." He's like, "I gotta go. I'm hanging out with my grandma tomorrow at 7 a.m." He runs away, runs into the bushes, never to be seen again. Then I find out the next morning, friends of ours were driving to their hotel. It was a little bit. It's a further hotel. They drive and my friend goes to the other one. Watch out! You almost hit that guy in the road. He's oh shit! Thank you for letting me know. It was my buddy. It was my buddy Ross. So shout out to Ross. He was walking home to his hotel in the middle of a highway, and he walked way past his hotel. He was about half a mile past his hotel. So they had to pick him up, and he did not know how to get out of the backseat of a car. So he was that drunk. So shout out to Ross.
Was it one of those classic drunk walks where he only had one shoe on for some reason?
I don't know. But the fact that he walked past his hotel by half a mile is just absolutely astounding. And I give him a shout out. He's an Arsenal fan. So, but yes. So that's when you know you had a good wedding. So shout out to you, Ross. Thank you so much.
Real quick, and then we'll get on to Arsenal, I guess. Ryan, you made your guests go down to Mexico for the wedding?
No. My honeymoon is in Mexico. But
That's
my wedding was on the island.
Okay. That's all I wanted to know. Go ahead, BG. Back to you.
I'm thrilled that I got to be a part of it. So, yeah, it was.
You're getting your fucking hat back.
Yeah. Well, so I left that in your room. Thursday night, huh? The night.
Yeah,
the night
it's like one of those.
before.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things where, like you have a one night stand, and the girl. Well, I think the guy usually does it, but what they'll do is they'll leave something of theirs in the room just so they could come back for a second date. Oh, I think I left my keys in your room, and let me just walk up and get it. That's how you get a second date out of it, and that's he goes dark because he knows what he did. Son of a bitch. All right, I'm ready. I'm ready to dissect this game because I think there's a lot to talk about. I think a lot of interesting things that happened. I think a lot of things for me. Kind of, I nailed down a few things as to what I believe we should do going forward. And yeah, up to you, BG. I don't know what you want to talk about first.
You know what? Have at it, because Stan and Glenn and I mean, we'll get into it again because not everybody saw the post game on Saturday, I'm sure, and heard our thoughts. But we really haven't heard your thoughts. So yeah, by all means.
And yeah, all right. Well, I did not get to listen to you guys at the after show because I'm right now currently in the middle of Not Another Arsenal podcast. Shout out to Mikey Hers. He's a great host, and I'm like in the middle of that, and then you guys are on right after, so I'll have to get to that. Got to hurry up. But the game was very interesting. So set the scene. I'm in Cabo, Mexico. I'm trying to get the game on at the bar next to the pool, and they couldn't figure it out. They were poking fun at me. That's saying, yeah, you don't want to watch Arsenal. You want to watch, the adult channels. They're putting on Playboy and stuff. And I'm like, okay. So I had to run all the way back to my room, not far, but luckily I had great waiters in Cabo, and they were just feeding me drinks, and they were strong. So I would say by halftime I would say mid second half, I was pretty wasted. But yeah, I think we played really well in the first half. I know a lot of people do not want to see a team like Arsenal, the great mighty Arsenal, defend for an entire half, but I think we did a really good job. I think, when you look at it, and I know it's something that that I hammer away all the time. And I know Glenn in his 5-minute video said it, and he says it a lot, which everyone needs to check out. The videos are hilarious.
Thank you.
I loved the little cameo of Running Man with Arnold Schwarzenegger. It's one of my favorite movies as a kid. I know that kind of dates me a little bit, but great movie. But yeah, we have the youngest team in the Premier League, so I wasn't expecting much. I was a little knowing that Liverpool had like potentially 7 injuries going to the game. I was like, all right, maybe. And then like the morning of, I'm like, oh, we're at Anfield. I'm like, all right, well, 1 point I'll take. But we got exposed, and when people, a lot of like casual fans that I talk to, they like, well, West Ham thrashed them, and we're better than West Ham, so we should have thrashed them. Like people are constantly using like this, I guess was the transitive property. Like, well, we beat them and they beat them, so then we should beat them. It's like, I know we didn't play West Ham yet, but a lot of people were talking about the Brighton game. Like we should have held in with them because Brighton came back and tied. Listen, they exposed us. I think us playing a 4-1-4-1 was very stupid and naive of Arteta to do. I'm a little upset Rohan's not here for this, but it's just one of those games. Aubameyang, we played with 10 men. We played with 10 men the entire game. Okay. He tried to drop back and play it. He at one point he was in between Lokonga and Partey trying to defend and get the ball, and he lost the ball in the middle of the field countless times. And I don't know, because I want to back him. He's the captain. He scores the goals for us, and we need goals, but I'm nervous, when I know I'm jumping the gun a little bit, and I apologize for that. But when you look forward to the game against Newcastle, they haven't won a game all year yet. Like 11 games in, they won a game all year. They've scored more goals than we have. So that bothers me like a lot. That like you let that sink in, you're like, shit, But I think there's just it's just a lot of things going on. The whole Odegaard versus Lacazette thing. I know that was a thing that Mikey Hers and his podcast were talking about, and it's interesting because I know Kelly was big on we need to get rid of Lacazette. We'd be stupid to sign Lacazette. We've done dumber things. We've done stupider things, but I don't know. His leadership, what he does in his position, not many players can do that. And I'm not saying let's give him a 5-year deal and pay him Aubameyang money. I'm not saying that. But giving him a 1-year extension maybe until we could figure it out. I don't know. I mean, I'm not saying I definitely want to do that. I just think it's something that we shouldn't throw off the table, because what if we don't sign anybody in January? What if we don't sign anybody in the summer? It's a very real possibility. And with Balogun, for me, sure shit should be going out on loan in January. And in the news today, what's his name? Bareth, Miguel Bareth, the guy we signed from the Fulham Academy, who's doing very well, by the way. Him and Balogun are just they're killers up top. That's why we're first place in the academy, which we're doing good. But he's gonna. I don't know if you guys saw the tweet. I think I sent it to you guys. We're slowly integrating him to the first team this year, with the plans of sending him out on loan in the summer. So what are we gonna do next year for a striker? We gotta do something, because Aubameyang is not the answer, and Odegaard, because Aubameyang and Odegaard probably play the best together. They're not gonna be the answer against teams like Man City, Liverpool, Chelsea. And I talk too long, so someone.
You're fine. Stan, I guess kind of bring us back to earth here a little bit, and I don't think Ryan is ready to jump off a bridge, and I said that on.
Oh, no.
Any of us are ready to jump off a bridge.
I think I was more positive after the game than you were, Tanner.
You definitely were. But Stan, talk to us about what you saw on Saturday and where your head is after the result right now.
As I said before, it's important that we win the games that we should be winning. When you've got a team which is made up of such a young profile, I mentioned that there's going to be bumps in the road. We had a 10-11 game run. At some point, we were going to lose a game. I'd rather that when we do lose that game, it's to Liverpool, than against a team where we go away thinking that that's a team where we should get 3 points from. Mm-hmm. So it's important now that when we go to play a team like Newcastle, who haven't won a single game, we don't want to be that team when they get their first win. If we can go and play Newcastle and come out of that winning comfortably, then that bump in the road is Liverpool, and hopefully then from Newcastle, we start another run. If we go into the Newcastle game and for whatever reason, we're walking in there with our faces looking like slapped arses, feeling sorry for ourselves, then we could get undone. I'm confident that we should be able to get 3 points against Newcastle, because I'm at that stage now after seeing us being on a 10 to 11 game run where I'm back into that mode now where I'm looking at certain teams and I'm feeling confident again. Whereas before, I went through this long period of constantly edging my bets, thinking, well, I'm not so sure. You know, we might start off in the first half really well, but we could fade or vice versa. I believe that what happened with Liverpool was a bit of a blip in the road. It was a good gauge to have. We needed to see where we were after being on a run for 10 to 11 games. Okay, we're not ready to go to Anfield yet and turn them over. We should be able to get 3 points against a team whose manager is away on COVID, who's not had any time to really train with them. You've got players there that don't know what their futures are going to be. We should be we should be able to get 3 points amidst that confusion. That's what I think.
I mean, it's like you said Saturday, and you just reiterated. Win the games you should win. Don't come away from a game feeling like you left 3 points or even 2 points out there. You know, I mean, everything you just said, Stan, I don't want to, necessarily.
I would say that as well about games that we should win. I think that for a long time, even towards the end of Arsene Wenger's tenure, that was our biggest problem. Yeah, that we could sometimes hold our own against some of the bigger teams, but then we go and play a team which we should be able to get 3 points from, and we leave, like you say, leave points on the table. Mm-hmm. If we stop doing that, for me, that's a massive improvement. Once we can handle all of that, then we can start tinkering a little bit to see how we can cope with the teams, the so-called teams that are better than us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree wholeheartely, and I think that this is a good opportunity this weekend. Not to get ahead of myself here before I go to Glenn, but it's a good opportunity with Newcastle to say, yeah, okay, we got slapped up Saturday at Anfield. Well, what kind of a team are we? Do we tuck our tail between our legs and come into the game scared and like, oh, we can't, oh boy, don't want to lose this one again, don't want to lose this one, or do we come out and say, yeah, okay, we got slapped up. Now it's time for us to go slap Newcastle up a little bit.
Can I just say as well? Oh, go, Stan.
I just want to say, when we were going into that game, my biggest, my worry, but my biggest concern was that we would find out a lot about these new fullbacks that we have, because I felt that was going to be probably one of the biggest tests. And, it kind of showed us that I felt that our fullbacks did get pulled out a little bit, pulled around a little bit. We're at fault for a couple of things, but it's a bump in the road. I hope that this is one of those games that they go away learning the mistakes and not going away and just continue to repeat them. Don't mind you making a mistake if you learn from it. Just don't make it a repetitive thing, please.
Yeah.
And the one thing I just want to say real quick, Glenn, give me 10 seconds. The one thing I'm messing with you guys.
I'm all good here.
The only thing I wanted to say was I'm not jumping off a bridge. The reason why I brought the striker discussion up, just because I expect to beat Newcastle. I'm confident in beating Newcastle, but when you're going up against a team that hasn't won a single game yet, and they have more goals than you, I think it's an issue. I think it's something that we need to address. And with January, about a month and change away, I think it's something that we need to address, and it's something that's got to happen. With the Bareth talk, that's definitely not how you pronounce his name, but I think something has to be done about it. And yes, we'll beat Newcastle, but the striker situation, I think, is getting uglier and uglier by the game.
Yeah. Yeah, Glenn. Yeah, I mean, just everything that I've asked these guys. I mean, just where are you at? We talked Saturday, but
my view has not changed since Saturday's aftermath post-game show. We had a 23-year-old at left back and right back playing one of the best teams in the world, not in the Premier League, in the world. As far as the starting lineup goes, all I know is that in that first half, I was very excited. The game was not 3-0 after 30 minutes. We took everything they had, and I'm proud of the boys and the manager for the job they did in the first half. I thought in my own world that, maybe we could get a draw, but, it didn't destroy me losing that game. I saw positives. We all look at things differently. I took a lot of positives, and fuck it. I will defend Arteta if I'm the only one doing it on this show tonight. And, I'm on the fence about him, but I will defend him because he's earned cred with me. And I'm sick of all this nitpicking shit.
You know what? It's a good topic to kind of we can expand on this a little bit because I think that he does have some credit in the bank now, doesn't he? I mean, we all were in agreement on Saturday that this isn't. I mean, if you're Arteta out after Saturday, then you're just going to be Arteta out after every loss. Like, it just doesn't matter. You're just going to be Arteta out after every loss. That's just the way it is. You look at things in the bigger picture, and I mean, I'm off that bandwagon now. The 10-game unbeaten run has earned him some credit, in my opinion, and I'm now. I'm with Stan. What we say, Stan? Like the end of January? Is that where we're looking to? Is that the next?
I was thinking like the next kind of if you want to call it like, when you sit down and give the guy a grade or whatever, midterm report. I would say maybe first few weeks in February after the January window is closed. You can then look back and see have they reacted to what needs to be done, because we're going to have players going away for the African Nations Cup as well. And then obviously you need to see let's see how they all play now. So you need to see what happens. And I think mid-February is a good time to take a look, because I'm not one of those that just says, you know what I mean? Like, oh, I support Arsenal no matter what. No, I'm one of these people that I like to be a little bit more pragmatic. If I see something going wrong, it's good to talk about it and discuss it. And also praise when you see praise. So for me, it's work in progress with Arteta, because he wasn't my first choice as a pick to be the manager. You know, he wasn't my last either. I was 50-50. So I want it to work out for him. I'm willing it to work out for him. There are some that I feel are the other way. And I did notice some people that as soon as the final whistle went, they were back out with hashtag Arteta out. And that's down to them. That's really up to them. It really is. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't bother me one way or the other.
Listen, opinions are like assholes, right? Everybody has one. Sorry, Glenn.
I just wanted to add one thing because I forgot to say it. And Ryan reminded me when he talked about Mike Hurt's show, not another Arsenal podcast. I was watching his show last night. It's terrific, by the way. You should check it out. And they, for like 20 minutes, were talking about needing strikers. And we opened up with strikers. Let me tell you something, boys. I firmly believe if we get a solid baller next to Partey, that'll make our strikers look a lot better. That's all I'm saying. I'm in the minority now when it comes to midfield, but I'm not getting off that. No.
What kind of player do you want?
I really want to add something to just what Glenn just said there. Right. And he said, and it's something that over the so many months we've been saying about if we can get someone to be next to Partey. But for me, the truth of the matter is that I would say that for me, it was somebody asked a question on Twitter, and it was like, "What's your opinion of Thomas Partey?" That this up till now, and my answer was, he has failed to live up to the reputation that preceded him before his arrival. So, we want someone to partner him, but I'm not seeing anything from him yet. I know it's been stop-start for him. I know he's been rushed back from injuries, but when we talk about sometimes about that, we feel that sometimes in the midfield that we're a bit meek, that we've got a little bit of a soft underbelly. Shouldn't Thomas Partey be one of the players that is being a bit of a voice in the midfield? He's not 19. He's a Ghanaian international, been playing in Spain. What is he, 26 now, something like that, 27? I'm just saying, I'm a little bit underwhelmed with Thomas Partey thus far. And I'm being patient with him, like I was patient with Pepe for so long.
Yeah, I can't disagree with that. I'm not going to tell you how to gauge players, Stan. And I'm being patient with him too. I think we have not seen the best of Partey by far yet. And, let's just see what we all want the same thing. So I'm not going to argue with you about Partey. We want him to succeed. And I just think we haven't seen the best of him yet.
No, I mean with Thomas Partey, I mean let's face it. It, like Stan said, it's been stop, it's been start, it's been stop, it's been start, right? I mean injuries and just the chopping and changing of the lineup week in, week out. From last season when we had him to now. this is the longest. This is probably the longest run of games, or if it's not, it's very close to being the longest stretch of consecutive games that he has started since he got here. And I don't think that we've seen the best of him. The fact is, good players are going to make other players better, right? I mean, that's just the nature of sport. If you're surrounded by great players, you yourself should become relatively great. So if we don't think that the players around Thomas Partey are all that good, or let's say average at best, yeah, that can tend to bring him down a little bit as well. But I mean, Saturday notwithstanding, I actually thought during that 10-game unbeaten run that Partey was getting better and better and better, in my opinion, as these games went on. Now, I wouldn't say that it was leaps and bounds, but I would say that every game there would be something in there that just kind of made you say, it's starting to click now with Thomas Partey. But I will say this. I still think, as far as the midfield conversation goes, that this club still need a legitimate, solid, bona fide number 6. We need a defensive midfielder, somebody that just the pendulum in front of the back four that swings, that wins the ball back, that puts in a challenge, and then moves the ball up to Thomas Partey for him to transition the ball into attack. Because I feel like we're asking Sambi Lokonga and Partey and Granit Xhaka when he comes back into the lineup, and he's going to come back into the lineup. But I feel like we're asking the 3 of those players when they're in to do the same job. And it's, to me, it's a bit of overkill to have 3 players trying to all do the same thing. It's like you got too many chefs in the kitchen here, fellas. You know, I mean, if you're going to play a midfield 3,
a lot of people ain't going to like. Right, and I'm not saying it to be fucking sensationalism. For me, the 2 main ones in midfield that I would start would be Partey and El Neni. For what we have, and for how you're describing that you'd like us to play, Lucas Torreira, if he was still with us, but he isn't. But for the reasons that you've said, that would be my starting 2 with what we have.
I don't think Arteta is ever going to play with a 6. I hate to break it to you, Tanner.
I know. I agree with you. I agree 100%.
I get what you're saying. I actually don't agree, and I know I was banging the bonus for Basuma drum all off season. I wanted Basuma. I wanted Basuma, or I wanted someone who's going to play 6. I didn't expect our back 5 to play so well. I did not expect those 5 players to really step up, take the game by the scruff of the neck, and show us something. All 5 of them. I think we get into some pretty good chances, and we can't put the ball in the back of the net. We need to score goals, and I agree. I think we could upgrade on Partey. I do. I think we could upgrade on a few players in the midfield. I think Lokonga is still raw. I really want AMN to come good. He's like that ex-girlfriend that she just keeps coming back into my life, and I'm always out on AMN, then I'm back in, I'm out, I'm back in. I think he could do it. I think he could be like an on any player. The problem with him is he's too calm, and which could be a good thing, but it could also be a bad thing. And his passing's just not there yet. But I do think AMN could help us out, even maybe as a squad player. Yeah, I completely agree with what that said. I got to be honest. I'm
shocked knowing that he's 28 now. It's like I mean,
yeah, like
he should be
the
leader of the team.
And then I guess this is a question to you guys too, but definitely this is the question to Glenn, because Glenn says his preference is a center midfielder. I'm curious what kind of midfielder you're looking for. Like, can you name anybody? If you can't name anybody, that's fine. But what kind of center midfielder do you want? You can tell me age. Give me the juicy details.
I want someone who's rock solid on defense, so Partey can go forward a little bit. That's the best I can give you right now.
Do you guys now? I guess then my next question is: do you guys think we're better defensively or better offensively?
by far defensively.
Defensively, I think.
So, and I, you guys may prove me wrong here, and you make me sit on my balls here, but then why are we getting a defensive player? Why if we're so good defensively, why do we want a defensive player? And I get what Tanner's saying, and it's what you say, Glenn too, Glenn. You know, you want to push Partey further up the pitch. For me, he's too inconsistent. Yeah. I don't want to put all these eggs on. Well, we need somebody for Partey to be better. It's Partey that needs to, enable us. But I just think I don't know. I just think Partey is just not doing it for me. It
sounds to me that we want to have a player who is going to do a lot of people think Partey should be doing, and that's being a screener and allowing Partey to be released more. But I hear what you're saying. Like, if we're more defensive, why do we want to buy a more defensive player? Because then it maybe makes Partey not more attacking, but a little bit more free. I mean, we all know if I had my way, I'd just say Donny van der Beek. So I'd fit him in somewhere. So.
All right, listen, real quick, Ryan, real quick. I just want to respond to you. Everything goes through the midfield. You know that. You're friggin' so highly intelligent. Everything goes through the midfield. Right now, excuse me, I'm drooling. We got Partey and a bunch of squad players next to him. A whole list of squad players next to him. That's all I had to say.
And then the one thing I will say to you guys, and I'm not saying he's going to enable Partey to go further up the pitch. I think something that we need to try. I don't know. Formationally, I don't know how I work that out, but everyone keeps talking about it. Is having Odegaard not play next to Partey. We've seen that. Don't like it. But maybe having him drop a little bit, maybe, and kind of, when I was playing as a kid, you had, I guess I'll use the fullback and midfield, and yet you're right back and you're right midfielder. Sometimes your right back goes past your right midfielder. If you're having enough communication, your right midfielder then slides back to you as a right back, and you can kind of stay up there, catch your breath, and when you come back, you switch back. And I think that's something that I think Odegaard and Partey should figure out, because I think it's something we could do, and I think we can push them both up the pitch when we have the ball. And kind of going back to the Liverpool game a little bit, it was very interesting watching them play. And I knew that's how they played, but they came at us with like all the dicks. They play with a back two in possession, and they just had everybody up. Everybody was just coming at us, and they were nonstop. And I don't want to give them all the credit, but I will give them probably most of the credit. I think it was more them playing out of their skin than us just, you could talk about us. We could analyze and break us down all you want. Their last two goals are what us four in the chat have wet dreams about at night. That's what we want Arsenal to do. We want Arsenal to do that. That's the cookie cutter goal that everybody fucking wants Arsenal to be, is their last two goals. And there was just like, even there's nothing you can do about those two goals. Even the first goal, that delivery from Alexander-Arnold and Mane coming out of nowhere. Granted, should Mane have been on the pitch? That's another discussion. But still, great finish. And then fuck it. I'll break down the second goal because I didn't talk about that. The Tavares thing, crazy. If it was anybody else, I wish it was Xhaka, but it wasn't. But if it was I don't want to say anybody else, but most players that if they do that, we're fucking screaming our heads off, going to Twitter. Fuck this, out of the team, bringing Tierney. What are you doing? It happened. I felt bad. I was like, fuck, no, Tavares, no. Because we all saw what he was trying to do. And that's something that we want. We want a fullback. We want a player to bring the ball up and not be afraid and just go. And to what you were saying, Glenn, we want to have things flow through the middle of the field. And Tavares is someone who is willing to carry the ball into the middle of the field and help facilitate, maybe push Partey further up the pitch. So it was, I felt bad, but I'm happy in a way it happened. He's going to learn. And all this people, and then, one thing really quick pisses me off on Twitter is everyone's got the Goldilocks syndrome when it comes to Twitter. Oh, we should have played Tierney, see? Oh, man. Oh, where was Xhaka? If Xhaka was there, they would have never done this. Oh, you got to be fucking out of your mind. He tried something, it didn't work. Shit happens when you party naked.
You know what? It did work for the most part, Ryan. I wanted to.
And he was brilliant defensively, Tavares.
In the pregame, we all said we wanted Tierney to start over Tavares, except for Rohan. So when we got to the aftermath, one of the first things I said was, "Oh, Rohan, when we talk about right back, I'm going to talk to you." And you know what? He put up a great argument of what Tavares did, and I looked it up, and he played well, except for that one mistake. And guys, you know this, and the audience knows this, and everybody in the world of football knows this. No. Young kids are going to make mistakes.
No, I disagree. I saw him I saw him make more than that one mistake. I saw him make a couple of passes that didn't get to their destination, and I was one of the ones that I would have preferred Kieran Tierney to play. And I think that, in my opinion, my observations, that I was right in my feeling on it, because I felt that Tavares stayed up the pitch sometimes far too often. Now, we do know that Kieran Tierney does like to venture up the pitch. It's part of his play. But I just think that he has a little bit more experience to sometimes know when to hold off, whereas Tavares sometimes doesn't. And I also felt as well that Tomiyasu sometimes got pulled on the inside too much as well. And this is probably because he's someone that does play a lot inside as a centre-back as well, and sometimes can be inclined to go further into that channel. And I said before the match that I felt that we were going to learn a lot about our fullbacks. Don't get me wrong, I'm not trashing. I'm not saying because of the back of that one game that they're shit. Not at all. I'm happy with them. But these are new players all playing together. Remember that. We've got 6 players that we've just put into the team. It's very rare that you see that happen. And they've done very well to come through a 10-11 game unbeaten run. But then they just went up against, as Glenn said, one of the best teams in the world. And they got exposed a little bit. The best that we can hope for is that the coaches sit down with them and say, okay, look, this is where we got exposed. This is where you as a player needs to improve. And that's all that we can ask for.
The one thing I will say real quick to Stan's point, I'm not saying, my point was I actually want I went back and forth to Tierney and Tavares because I think Tierney sets us up better defensively, but I think Tavares, he played well defensively. I guess I agree. I think it's the experiencing. Well, I guess my point with the whole Goldilocks thing is I saw people on Twitter that were saying, well, if Tierney played and Tavares didn't, we would have won. Or we would have took a point. It's like one player is not going to change everything. And I saw a lot of people.
If had played for us, maybe we would have won. But,
it's very true.
A long time ago.
I wonder if those same people have the winning lottery numbers.
Considering we had such a brilliant first half, I'm very hesitant to say, Tierney should have started, because there's the whole butterfly effect thing. One player can't win a game, but God knows what would have happened in that first half if Tierney played. It could have been anything. And as far as
he could have got sent off, he could have gave up a goal in the first half.
It's very natural is that if you wanted Kieran Tierney to start and you're watching the game, and then you see Tavares make the pass that he makes, you're automatically going to think to yourself, "Oh man, I knew, Tierney should have played. He probably would have made that pass." And that's okay to say that, but something that you mentioned, that Ryan mentioned about Odegaard, and I love it when we sometimes talk about players in positions and so forth. And he said about Odegaard playing deeper. I'm of the other opinion, because somebody else mentioned in the chat box a bit further back about what is Odegaard's role. And it seems that, and your sentiment saying the setup is shit, the system is unsustainable. We've been playing this 4-4-1-1 kind of hybrid kind of a formation now. And I think that in a formation like that, I would like to see Odegaard playing as the one behind the main one. So for me, there's an argument that you could maybe take Aubameyang out and let him sit for a while. There's no shame in letting the player sit if they're not producing, and he's not producing. And it's been going on fucking far too long now. Whereas you're going into games and you're rubbing your hands together and you're waiting for Aubameyang's goal, I go into it now, and if he does score, I'm like, oh, Aubameyang scored, that's a bonus. Do you know what I mean? It's not at the forefront of my mind anymore. It's not a bread and butter goal anymore. So what I'm saying is there's an argument where you could say, well, why not play Lacazette as that front one and have Odegaard? I think Odegaard is that kind of player that could play deep in that kind of a Bergkamp role behind the main striker. I even think with a little bit more work that ESR could even play that role as well. The difference is with the difference between the two for me with ESR and Odegaard. When the ball comes to ESR, he will try to travel with the ball to get more yardage, and he will draw free kicks onto him as well. Odegaard is a player that will turn up in a certain area of space, and sometimes it's a position where he can score, or he'll be slightly deeper back and can make some pinpoint passes. They're both good creatively, but they've just used the ball in different ways. But I think.
Go ahead. Go.
I was just saying, just to round off, I think Odegaard, if he was maybe playing behind the striker, you might see something a little bit more from him.
I agree with all of that. I love Odegaard, and he is going to be a friggin' star for Arsenal, and I hope we can find a way to get him into the lineup more often. So, yeah, Stan, I agree with everything you just said.
Thank you.
Well, I mean, I think when you look at the team, I think when you look at the team setup, I think Arteta knows what he wants to do, but I think he's looking at the players that he has and says, but I need to get this guy in because if he's not in, then I don't have this.
Yeah.
So I feel like what Arteta is doing to a degree is, how do I explain this? He's trying to make meatloaf by cooking with pasta. It just doesn't work.
Okay, I get
what
it.
You know what I mean? Like what I'm saying is it's like, okay, what system and what role does Odegaard fit? Where is this is if there's a knock on Arteta, and I don't want this to turn into a bash Arteta show. I'm not here for that, but I will say this: if the biggest problem that I have with Mikel Arteta is when he first came in, and for that half a season when, you know, things were shut down and he came back and everything was behind closed doors, but he worked well with the players that he had and figured out the role that they were best suited to. Now he's taking the players that he has and saying, you're this, but I'm going to make you this because this is the role. I like you as a player. I like your talent. I like your work ethic, whatever it might be. I like your footballing IQ, but you're going to play this role in this position. And I agree with Stan with the Odegaard thing. He's probably the closest thing that this club has to a true number 10. The way that Arteta's system is supposed to work is with a true 10. That's the way that this system is going to work. The 10 is to feed the wingers and the striker. And that front four, if you will, they're supposed to work in harmony. And right now what you have is midfielders who don't really, they're trying to play too many roles. And that's why I agree with Ryan when he said that he doesn't think a true number 6 is going to come in. If you're going to play 3 in the midfield, to me, and this is just me, this is just my opinion. If I were coaching, this is what I would do. If I had 3 in the midfield, I would have a defensive midfielder. I would have a box-to-box midfielder. That's your transition. That's your defense to attack transition, the box-to-box. And I would have an attacking midfielder. The attacking midfielder is my playmaker. The attacking midfielder is the distributor of the ball. But, oh, by the way, I want him to chip in with 10 goals. I want him to move the ball into the wings, up to the striker. But, oh, by the way, I want him to follow the ball. You know what I mean? As the ball progresses, not follow the ball direct, like run behind the ball. As the ball progresses down the pitch toward the goal.
To keep in the same line, so that if anything comes off, he's there.
And perfect example of that was Aubameyang's chance that Alisson got a toe on, and Emile Smith-Rowe was bringing up the rear. I don't want to come down on the kid because, quite frankly, I think he is the most important player in terms of our attack. I think ESR is our most important player right now just because of the energy that he brings. But if he's busting his hump to get down the field, he's there for that rebound, or it's close. He at least gets a look at it, and so to bring it back, the number 10. Okay, and I know that
it's another body for their centre backs to be concerned with, right?
There was nobody else there. When you look at that particular opportunity, there was no one there. They had nothing to worry about.
I'm not going to blame Arteta for us finally having some real decent depth at positions. All right, Stan brought this up in the aftermath, where Saka looks like he's a little tired. We got Pepe on the bench to come in for a game, okay? Odegaard, we're talking about where he can fit in. Odegaard, ESR. We have some depth, except in midfield. And I will stay on the midfield because we don't have depth there.
We're going to get –
Partey gets hurt. We are fucked.
Even the people that we do that have available – we've all fucking split on. Some say they like Elneny. Some say, no, Elneny's not fucking good enough. It should be fucking Xhaka. Other people are like, fuck that shit. Xhaka shouldn't even be fucking wearing an Arsenal shirt. It should be fucking Ainsley Maitland-Niles. We can't settle on it. We need someone. You're right. We need someone in there to see if they can unlock Partey. If not, we bought another dud.
Ryan, what's the look on your face for?
I heard Glenn screaming from my toilet. I was like, "What did I? I'm gone for 5 minutes. I heard Glenn scream about depth of midfield. I'm like, what the fuck did I miss? I leave you for 2 seconds, Glenn. You're going crazy.
I'm sorry. I didn't even realize I was yelling.
But the one thing I really quick wanted to say is ESR is the most important player. He's the man. And so Stan said something that people aren't going to like. I'm going to say something that people aren't going to like. I don't think Saka's playing that well. I don't think.
No,
But I guess what's going to hurt people is I don't think it's because he's tired. I just think I don't think it has anything to do with fit. I don't think his fitness tired. It looks like he doesn't know what to do. You see him play, and I said this to Tanner the other day. He's turning into Alex Iwobi. Once he gets inside that 18-yard box, he forgets how to spell his name. And to be fair, Bukayo was a little harder to spell than Alex, so I'll give him a pass. Maybe his last name, Saka's kind of easy.
You're saying he's got a touch of the Walcotts.
Yeah, I don't know. I just think Saka gets the ball and the look on his face. He's not sure what to do.
I'll tell you what the difference is.
Fuck, I hope not.
I'll tell you what the difference is, because when you see him play for England, he's decisive, he's straightforward, and he finishes.
Then it sounds like he's got a touch of the Welbecks, right?
Yeah. I'll tell you what the problem is, and people aren't going to like this. So we're all getting it in tonight. It's down to the manager. It is down to the now. I'm not set. Listen, I have been on this train for 18 months. Mikel Arteta, above and beyond talent, ability, work ethic, personal hygiene, your choice of boots, Mikel Arteta values one thing above and beyond everything else, and that's footballing IQ, because he wants you to think. And Bukayo Saka is thinking too much. That is the problem.
Yeah,
he has too many thoughts. Go ahead, Glenn. I'm sorry.
I just wanted to ask Ryan, because Ryan is arguably one of the best with these young kids. But you don't. As far as Saka goes, I've seen him do things I never saw Walcott do. So I don't know why you're so down on him and don't think he just needs a rest. Set him for a game.
Not rest, Glenn. Not rest. I think, and I agree with you. But I agree with you, Tanner, because I do kind of attribute to Arteta. I think he plays, and it's whoever plays in that right midfield spot, the right winger spot. They're fucking with. Pepe was doing it. William was doing it when he was doing it a little bit. Their toes, their boots are just on the side. I'm like, I want to see Saka come into the field. I think it's where he excels for us. is when he cuts in the middle and makes plays. And I think he can do that. And I think Arteta must have said something to him, probably tactically.
Oh, okay.
And I think he's playing too far out.
So you're officially saying you think Arteta took him off his game?
No, I don't know. I don't know if I go that far. I think he attributed to it. I think he attributed. No, well, you can't blame Arteta for Saka's poor finishing in the box and his decision in the box. You cannot blame Arteta for that. You can't.
No.
You can blame Arteta for the way for his Saka's where his heat map and where he's kind of spending most of his game. And it's not just him. It's whoever's in that right winger spot. Pepe did it. Willian did it. When we played ESR and Odegaard together, usually I think they've both done it. They both just like one of them just goes all the way to the right. And I think
Odegaard.
part of I've seen ESR do it, but Odegaard's usually the usual suspect out of the two. But what I will say is I think part of me thinks an underlying tactic of Arteta, he likes spreading the field. That's just the way he plays. That's what since he came in, he likes playing with. He likes stretching the team out. Problem is, we stretch the team out, which I think we do a pretty good job, but no one's running in. The only person running in is ESR, and I think that's why ESR is flourishing for us. He's to me, and some people might not like this either. He's a way better Aaron Ramsey in the fact that he just makes those late runs in the box. He just gets in that right spot. He gets the ball and he puts it away. And we need that. Problem is, he's just one player. We need someone else doing that. We need, or we need maybe Aubameyang making his presence in the box. That's why personally I think we need like a more physical forward like a Mikel Antonio who did very well against Liverpool. But yeah, I just think I see what kind of Arteta's trying to do. I just don't think, and you know what? I may be eating my own words right now, Glenn, because it may be the center midfield spot. Our presence in the middle of the field just isn't there, and I don't really know who to blame because I think, like I said, I think ESR does a phenomenal job, and he's scored. I think he's second on the team in goals. He's got 7 goals. He's doing a good job, but he's just one guy. All you gotta do is mark him. You know. Oh, Mike, you scared me for a quick second. And then, get your minds like, oh, yeah, I try. I can't help it.
Ryan, please don't. Never mind. Go.
No, I'm done. I'm good.
Let me pose a bit of a change in formation, but not really. It's still you could still see it as a 4-3-3, but it would really require the true number 6, the true defensive midfielder, which Ryan, I agree with you. I don't think it's going to happen. But even I could see Partey in this role, but I would want someone. I would want someone who is more defensively sound than Partey to play this role. But if you played almost like a 4-1-2-3, where you would get, so you follow me? You see where my head is here? Yeah. So you would have 2 wingers.
I mean, we can't play against Liverpool; they would roast us. But
oh my God, I know that. But you would play 2 wingers and a central striker, but you would play two attacking midfielders in behind, and move Bukayo Saka into that right attacking midfielder role. Now, I'm not advocating Pepe because I got to be honest. Pepe just isn't. There's a reason why he's not starting. And there's a reason.
I got another shocking thing to say too. When it gets to me, I'll let you know. I have one more.
Do you not think we're playing 4-2-2/4-1-1 because Arteta's just trying to find a way to get Lacazette and Aubameyang in there together? He doesn't want to leave.
Ding. Stan wins.
I think when you look at it in attack, I think it's a 4-3-3 in attack. And I mean, look, we started to play better when Lacazette came in as a starter. We did
because we gained a presence in the middle of the field.
Well, I'll be honest.
Aubameyang doesn't give us any.
He came in, he played better, but then Arteta couldn't. He didn't have the gumption to say, okay, then I'll sit Aubameyang. He thought, okay, how can I keep them both in? Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I quite like 4-1-1, 4-2-2. I've always liked having 2 strikers on the pitch.
Yeah.
But
the
one
the
of the
problem,
strikers is for me is lacking. Seriously lacking.
but
Which means
Stan,
that we're playing a 4-1-1 formation with 10 men.
but Stan, you're also when you talk about the two strikers, Aubameyang's not playing that striker role. Neither one of them are really playing a true 9. Lacazette's playing a false 9, and Aubameyang may as well be a left winger. You're talking about, if you're talking about a 4-4-2, you're talking about a midfield diamond. You're talking about a midfield 4 diamond with two strikers at the very top, where here again you almost get a number 10 playing in behind them. That's how I see it.
For me, it's more of like the second striker is slightly deeper, and then you've got another attacking midfielder in the diamond, a lower defensive midfielder, and 2. That's my FIFA formation. Doesn't mean it would work in real life. Doesn't mean it would work in.
I you know what I mean?
It's my favorite formation that I like.
I look at that formation. I look at a back 4 with a 4 in midfield, with a diamond 4 in midfield, and a 2-headed striker attack at the top. And they don't have to play the same.
And the sides
line.
of the diamonds are wingers.
Yep, they press, but they have to. Yeah. But here's the other thing too.
Yeah,
those
big hole in the middle though. But
the outside, that's the problem. But
which is why the second striker has to play a bit deeper, so that one that plays as the front of the diamond, he can also come back in as well. You come off the ball, you will come back a step to cover. But this is FIFA. I don't know if it works in real life.
Well, that's the thing though. Like when you look at it and you say to yourself, I mean, it's interesting to me.
Right? Let's talk about this forward thing, because I don't think now that anyone, and I'd like to hear what they say in the chat box. I think we've gone past the area now where we're saying that someone's just having a bad run of form and they're going to come good, because it's now going. I don't just look at the Liverpool game and say, fucking hell, Aubameyang was shit. And it's like, well, he's looked off the pace to me now for quite some time. And I'm not putting this conspiracy theory out there. It does coincide around about the time that he got his contract. I'm not saying it's because of that, but it was around just before then, he was still, tucking them away, and he was our number 1 man. It's just the drop-off, I feel, is astounding with Aubameyang. It's astounding. And again, I saw it in the Liverpool game. I saw, again, him trying to cross the ball into the middle again, which I don't want to see him doing. But when he is in the middle, he's finishing. It sometimes looks like now he needs 3 chances to put 1 away. His penalties, he shouldn't be our penalty taker as far as I'm concerned. Both
I agree with you there.
Both Pepe came to us with a high record number of goals, and a lot of people made the point, well, a lot of those were penalties. Well, fucking put them on penalties then.
Right.
So I said it the other day, and I'm saying it, I love the formation with the 4-1-1 or 4-2-2. I love playing with 2 strikers. I'm at the stage now, I just wish it was 2 different strikers.
Okay.
I want to rip it up.
I agree. I agree with
and start again.
I agree with Stan. I don't want Auba taking penalties. I always just wince when I see him line up to take a penalty. Second, I'm not ready to give up on our strikers yet. Third, I hear a lot of smart people saying just sell Lacazette. His contract is going to run out soon. We better not sell Lacazette without getting a proven striker first.
I mean, he's
Glenn, we're not selling him. No one's gonna buy him.
He's
walking. No one's gonna buy him because I want him here. I haven't given up on him yet.
Nah,
Glenn, he's gonna walk away for free in the summer.
Good, let him walk away. We need him now. Let him walk away. We need him now. Last I saw, he's happy here, and I know just a few weeks ago, Arteta said he is very happy with Lacazette and his work rate. So, F that.
He also said he's not giving him a contract extension
yet. We're not talking about that yet. He didn't just. You left out a word. Left out a word.
Glenn, he has a month left before he can sign a pre-contract with another club in January. They're not bringing. And I agree with you. I agree with you, Glenn. I'm not trying to argue.
I'm just having a vision of Glenn standing outside Lacazette's window at 12 o'clock at night, going, If you leave me now, you'll take away the biggest part.
Part of me.
You're the best. You were the absolute best.
It's funny, Glenn. I said the same thing. It's like 30 minutes ago. Only I was a little less angry about it. Yeah, it sucks because I think I think based on what we're trying to do, I think Lacazette's the guy, not Aubameyang. And I'll go a step further. I have my issues with this player. I'll just say it. I have my issues with Pepe. I think he hasn't came into his own. I think he hasn't bulked up to that Premier League. You know, when players transfer over to the Premier League, they kind of bulk up a little bit. He looks the exact same as when we bought him, which is scary. And I think Clive and Arsenal Vision said, and I agree with him. I think he looked kind of just not interested against Palace. So it's a little disheartening to say, but I think if we give him time, and all things are firing, and they haven't been, and I'm not gonna sit here and say Pepe's our best player. He's not, but I want to see him play instead of Aubameyang.
You know where I think Pepe would flourish for us, and unfortunately, it won't.
As a striker in the middle of the field, I want him to play instead of. Well, I disagree with you.
It's not a position. It's not a position.
Is it in the laundry room, like ironing the kit?
Yeah. What are you gonna have? What are you gonna say?
Wait. Oh,
squeezing oranges at half time.
You stuck this song in my head. Earworm.
Right. Yeah.
Earworm stand.
I mean this.
All right, Pepe, where do you want to play?
Well, he won't this year because it's not available to him, but in European competition.
Oh,
we need European. Right. Here's why.
Positionally, I'm like,
no. You're right. Everything you just said about him, he hasn't really bulked up at all. He's not strong enough for this league. The defenders in this league just kill him. They just kill him. And I mean this. If we don't qualify for Europe next season, sell him because he's just not going to do anything in the Premier League. Now, even in Champions League, if we could qualify for Champions League, I'd keep him and I'd play him in those games because playing against other European competition, I think he would come good in those competitions, in those matches, because that's the defending in Germany. Germany's probably the other exception with England, but the defending in France, in Spain, Belgium, Italy, it's not what it is in the Premier League. It's just not. And I think Pepe can flourish against those clubs. He's just not cut out to play English football. So I like him as a depth option if we can qualify for Europe. But if we don't qualify for Europe, I get rid of him because I don't even think he does anything in cup competitions for us.
I have a question, and I'm
going to look like that's weaker competition.
I'm going to look like I honestly look like an idiot, but I'm just curious. I'm sure you guys are going to say something. You're going to embarrass me. I don't know if you embarrass me, but what do you guys think Aubameyang does better than Pepe? If you could like pinpoint something, like what do you like this
finishing?
Okay, actually,
I'm not saying they're both at the moment not the best finishers.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Aubameyang, I would say, is the better finisher.
Do you know what I see with Pepe most often?
I think how it plays out with our strikers is going to be like this. I think that Lacazette will be sold by next summer because he's still sellable, even if it's for pennies. But I think Aubameyang, he plays it out to the end. We get another striker will come in while we still have Aubameyang. And Aubameyang, he sees it out to the end because even if we turn around in January and say we're going to give him away on a free, no one is going to pay the same wages that he's being paid now. No one. The other alternative is if he wants to say, if we bring in another striker and it's like, well, you're not the number one choice, if he's got the pride to say, well, then I'd rather go somewhere and be the first choice striker, whether it's in another division or another league. So that's how I think it will play out. He will be with us to the end. Lacazette will go, another striker comes in, and Aubameyang is still around the club.
Well, he's only got 1 year left after this, Aubameyang. So he's in the penultimate year of his contract. So
I know it sounds crazy. I really want to try Pepe as our striker. I think he's best in the middle of the field. I think he could create. He's similar to Aubameyang in that they have and even playing for Arsenal, Pepe has done it. Obviously not as frequently as Aubameyang, but Pepe hasn't played as much as Aubameyang. But he's created chances out of nothing. He has a very nice shot from outside the 18 or just outside the 18. He's tricky with the ball. He can get into tight spaces. You can maybe give Aubameyang the advantage in speed, but the way we're playing, the way Arteta wants us to play is very close, ticky-tacky football, which is why ESR is the most important player, because that's all he does, and that's why Lacazette has been a breath of fresh air, and he's been part of our streak. And I know it's not going to happen because I said it a couple of years, like the year after he joined us, and Clive even said it on Arsenal Fan Vision. So I'm like, yeah, like this, I'm not crazy, but I don't think it's gonna happen. But I don't know. I just think he could be a really important player for us in the middle of the field. And I agree with you, Tanner. I think probably when we play, in European competitions or Champions League, but I think he's going to be a winger through and through. But I just think he can offer us something that Aubameyang can't. And I think Pepe can play closer with Lacazette. He can play close to the SR. He could exchange in the short range of passing and make those late runs in the box. I don't know.
I can remember listening to when we were linked with Pepe. I never knew who he was. Obviously, I listened to a few podcasts to find out a bit about him. But I remember listening to
and he could take penalties.
Pepe. And they said they were talking about his background and his career, and they did say that he has been tried as playing through the middle, but it just didn't work out. It wasn't comfortable. It didn't work out for whatever reason. I've never seen it, but I do remember hearing that, and I remember thinking, oh, okay, well, maybe that's not an option then.
All right, since you guys are so hung up on talking about strikers, when I think most of the Arsenal universe that I see is hung up on strikers right now. I still say midfielders would make our strikers look better. Here's a question: does anybody know if Pepe played up front in France?
Yes.
I don't know.
He did a little bit.
He did.
Yeah, that's what he said.
I'm sorry. I thought you said you didn't know. I'm sick.
Saying,
leave me alone.
I was just saying that when I found out we were signing him, I listened to people talking about him who knew, and one of the things that they mentioned about his background in France was that he'd been tried through the middle, but it just didn't work out. He wasn't suited.
Okay, that's what you said. Okay, I apologize.
And the other thing with Pepe too, and we've seen this.
I know you switch out I know you switch off.
No. Only when Ryan's talking, I switch out. I'm kidding, Ryan.
Pepe would have to. He'd have to develop the right foot to play to play through the middle. Number one, he's always going to cut to his left.
That's
always going to cut. He's much more comfortable cutting in on his left foot. If he's playing through the middle, he's not. He's always going to. He's just going to keep drifting left. And now, as he's drifting left, he's drifting away from goal, and now he's kicking the ball back across his body with his left foot to try to get a shot on goal. So, I mean, if he could develop the right foot, if he could develop the positional awareness to play through the middle, I'm not opposed to it. But I don't see it with him. And you even made the point, Ryan, that he's not big enough. He's not strong enough. And if
neither is Aubameyang. So
right, but if Arteta's the man to lead the team forward, if he's the manager, neither one of those two players really work in the central striker role. Let's be honest. They just don't. But I'll say this. So I wanted to say this because you asked the question about the difference between the two. The one thing that I see with Pepe is Pepe's feet get moving faster than his brain. He overruns the ball. He loses, like he goes. And you're like, there's an opportunity. You're moving to the edge of your seat. You're about to get up because you think you might do something special, and then he falls. It's the turf monster got him.
I wish he got.
I mean, it sounds awful to say, but I've seen it so much with him where all of a sudden, like he just loses the ball in his own foot or in his own feet, and he doesn't get stripped of the ball. He's not even challenged. He just loses the ball in his own feet, and then the defender takes it and goes the other direction. And you're like, oh, well, that was fun.
And I will say this: I was gonna say this, but why not beat me to it? Pepe's a forward, not a winger, and I could not agree with him more. And we play him as a winger, and that's my point. We need to play him as a forward. And with him, again, I think it sucks. I said this months and months ago, but we have so many different players in this club that just fit different pieces for different formations for different tactics, and it's a mind fuck because I don't think Pepe is the bee's knees. I don't think he's a flop either. I'm kind of more leaning toward flop, but I'm not. I just think he's done some very special stuff for us. And yeah, maybe it was in Europa League, yes, but I think he has that capability when he gets into the middle of the field. That's and also too, like a reason why I brought it up too is because A, set pieces, B, he takes penalties, and he would be the penalty kick taker for us, and we would that would be solved. And C, I really want to figure, and I know I'm sorry, Glenn, because I know you're all about the midfield, and you too, Mike, you all about the midfield too. I just want to figure out this equation. I think there's this equation out there where we need to bridge the gap. We need to figure out what's going to work for us to get to Balogun and Barath soon, because they're not ready. They're not going to be ready next year. Probably not even after that. Maybe they'll be coming through the year after that. We need a fix. Aubameyang is just not it. He's not the guy. He's not. See, I think he had potentially bridging the gap. We're not re-signing him. I think he's so good with the kids, and he's a good leader. Potential, it's there for a year, but again, like I wish we had again. I said this multiple times. I wish we had these problems last season, because this would have been this could be a good problem to have last season. Where Locke's got one more year left. We could try to sell him, get some money to another striker, or we could really figure this shit out. But with us re-upping Aubameyang, with us finishing 8th again, now we're kind of still a year behind where we want to be. Next year, we want to be in Champions League. Next year, we want to, or maybe not be in Champions League, but definitely secure that 4th place spot. I don't think we do it with Lacazette. Sadly, I don't think we do it with Aubameyang. So what do we do? Eddie's going to be gone. Eddie's not coming. So
who cares?
I mean, he's not the answer regardless, I don't think.
No, I know, but I'm just saying, like, we're selling. Because I feel bad. I kind of like didn't bring him up at all when I was so much strikers early in the show. But yeah, so it's something that needs to be solved. And whereas I think for Glenn and Mike's sanity, I think a center midfielder would kind of sure us up in the middle of the field. And yeah, I think it would be good. We could probably compete with the likes of Liverpool, maybe with that press that they had, which is fucking insane. But I don't want, and I'm sorry I'm circling back to this, but I'm surprised none of you freaked out when I said it. Not freaked out, but made like a shock face. But the last place team in the Premier League doesn't have a single win. They have more goals than we do. I know.
I mean, I didn't make a shock face, but I was like,
yeah, but
I didn't know that. That's a crazy stat, by the way.
I know we're not. I think we're like 4th to last, 3rd to last in goals, which is still bad. But it's like it's a team that has no, like, they literally do. They have not collected 3 points in 11 games, and they have more goals than us.
Yeah, but they've not come up against Aaron Ramsdale yet. So
and that's another thing too. I think we got to give. I got to give, and I said back 5, not back 4, because I'm including Ramsdale in the back 5 because. He let in 4 goals and he stood on his head. I mean, Leno is just a distant memory now. I feel bad. A tear's gonna roll down my face in a second. But yeah, I'm excited for Ramsdale. But I don't know. I just think how do I explain this? I think we'll gain, like, if you look at it right now, if you have a choice of a striker or a center midfielder, I think we're going to accumulate more points with a better striker than a center midfielder. But I think with a center midfielder, we'll be able to stay in games more with Man City, Chelsea, Liverpool. And that's up to, like, that's up to the fans. Like, what do you want? Do you want us to stay in games and compete with Liverpool, or do you want us to just accumulate more points? And I think most people want to accumulate more points. But I mean, at the end of the day, we have to catch the Liverpool, Man City, and Chelsea anyway. So we're going to need both.
I think we are walking a tightrope at Arsenal, the team where everybody gets hurt, where if Partey goes down, we are completely screwed.
No, Glenn, you forgot. We have Jack Wilshere. Everything's gonna be okay.
All right, you're just trying to get me going. So.
I am. Yes, I am. You're right. You caught me. Red-handed.
Does anybody know? I'm not saying this is an answer. I just remember this story from last year with verified sources that they were trying to get Martinelli to play up front. That never worked out. Did anybody hear anything about that?
Yeah, I mean, he played against West Brom, and I think he played.
Oh, did he? I
season.
didn't even notice.
Last season playing against, obviously last season they're not in the Premier League anymore. And he played another game I think early on the season for us this year, and he wasn't. Well,
good. The first three games of this season don't count. And you keep talking about Newcastle scoring all these goals. I'll take our defense over fucking Newcastle's offense any day.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, but we're not fighting off relegation, so I wouldn't want to have that argument regardless.
Well, I don't know. It's good. It's all good stuff here, fellas. It really is.
Well, guys, if you look at any other position on the field, if a striker gets hurt, we got depth. The winger gets hurt, we got depth. Defense, we got Saliba over in France. We could bring him back. Midfield,
you're making shit up, Glenn. What are you talking about? You can't bring him back. Like you're coming back.
I thought we could bring him back early. All right, I must have
maybe in January, but we're not doing that.
I think
I'm just saying if somebody gets hurt, we're fine at every position.
But
mid.
I don't think we're fine at striker, Glenn. We're not even fine with a starting striker. We have depth, yes. Not good enough.
I'd like to see us bring in 4 players. I'd like to see us bring in a central defensive midfielder. That's his job. That's his role. That's what he does. Mm-hmm. I'd like us to also bring in Donny van der Beek as well.
You just wanted to get that in there.
I also, because I think he'd help. I also think that we should bring in. We could bring in the third player would be a winger, and I would try to look for a winger that's comfortable in either flank. He's comfortable in either flank, so none of this. He's not playing in his right position. He can move on either flank, and a striker. I mean, and then moving on to the following season, you follow that up with another striker, because we've got 2 strikers that we're going to be rolling out over 2 seasons. I think if we can bring in 4 players in those positions, central defensive midfielder, another attacking creative midfielder, another one to keep players like Odegaard and ESR thinking as well, and giving the manager more options, a winger that's comfortable on both flanks, and a striker, I think that will put us in good stead.
I seem to have spurred some comments about Newcastle. I don't think it's going to be an easy game. Just let me say that now. Go ahead, BG.
The only thing I worry about playing Newcastle is the icy evil glare of Amanda Staveley.
I agree. I agree with Glenn. On
about what?
About what that we need a midfielder more than we need a new striker. I mean. Well,
are you saying it because of depth? Or are you saying it because of just starting 11?
No, depth. I mean, we're going to lose. I mean, Aubameyang is gone for the month.
Okay.
Partey is gone for the month. El Neni is gone for the month.
Oh my God, I forgot about the African Cup thing. Oh my God, we're going to lose Partey. And you guys are talking about strikers?
I thought you were talking, Glenn. I thought that's why
Pepe as well. Pepe's gone.
Pepe's gone. Yep, Pepe's gone.
Yeah, what if someone left and nobody noticed? Give me a break. I like Pepe, but come on.
It's another body for backup. Someone on the bench. That's another person that we don't have.
Everybody talking about strikers right now. When Partey's in Africa and we got El Neni and Xhaka in midfield, then talk to me about wanting strikers instead of a midfielder.
Glenn, all right, I'm going to screw with both of you right now. So AFCON comes. Xhaka should be back. He should be back around early January, they said.
You talk like that's a good thing.
That's not, but he's depth. He's depth, and Gary's not here. But I'm sorry I'm bringing this up, Gary. But we do have him. He's depth. You have AMN. You have Lokonga. AMN Lokonga. I'm not for a month, which is what, like 3 games. I'm not upset about that. 3 games. You're acting like it's half a season. We're going to be short. We don't have Aubameyang. You have Lacazette. You have Lacazette playing a striker. He needs to run the box. What are we gonna do?
Lokonga's still settling in, right? If in his 3rd season, Lokonga is having the kind of inconsistent games that Pepe's having, are you going to be happy? Pepe's been with us a long time now, man, and I think that's a change that I really wanted it to work out for him, and I've seen flashes of it, but it's time to move on from fucking Nicola Pepe, man. It's not happening.
Yeah,
it is not happening.
I mean, here's the thing. Here's my counter argument to everything you just said, Ryan. So,
hey, Glenn, shut the fuck up. I'm just kidding. I just wanted to...
You like it when everybody's yelling at you.
I do.
I'll never forget when I remember arguing with Glenn on another channel, and he really hated it when I used the phrase about us getting our pants pulled down with Nicola Pepe. I'll always remember that. But we did. I believe it more now than ever. And it's
assuming that
it's a shame because I really wanted to work for that kid, but he fucking frustrates me so much.
Yeah,
assuming that the last game that the players leaving on international duty for AFCON will play is against Wolves at home on Tuesday, December 28th.
They will.
They will miss. These are the games they'll miss in January.
Okay.
And assuming they're gone the entire month. I don't know how it works. With Aubameyang, it's Gabon. So are they, when they're eliminated, is he relieved of international duty and he comes back? So we're talking, do we miss Aubameyang for maybe 3 matches?
Talking shit about Gabon? No,
I
don't want to be part of that.
Really. But okay, these are the matches.
And just a quick thing there, Tan. Now, the annoying thing about Aubameyang being away is that we're probably going to turn to Eddie Nketiah, who's again said he doesn't want to stay at the club anymore.
Right.
And I don't like that.
Or you keep Lacazette through the middle and you find a left winger. So ESR moves out to the left. Odegaard comes into the middle. That's the only thing I could see there without it having to be Eddie Nketiah. But all right. Manchester City, New Year's Day. Manchester City. Wednesday, we should be there. I would think we're going to go through. Wednesday, January 5th is the first leg of the Carabao Cup semifinal. Hang on. Saturday, January.
Who's that against?
Huh?
Who's that against, the cup final?
We don't know. We have to play Sunderland in the quarterfinal.
All right.
Should beat Sunderland. If we beat Sunderland, that's the first leg of the League Cup semifinal.
Okay.
Saturday, January 8th is our entrance into the FA Cup. Wednesday, January 12th would be the second leg of the Carabao Cup final, or the Carabao Cup semifinal. Sunday, January 16th, the Scum away. Saturday, the 22nd of January, Burnley at home. And then we get a break. So league matches, just league matches, Burnley, Scum, City. By the way, 3 potential knockout cup games. And let's face it, we're all up for the cup right now. Like, I mean, a lot of people like to talk shit on the League Cup, but the fact is we're in the semifinal and we are in the quarterfinal and we want to go win the damn thing.
Yeah.
So all of these players that I just rattled off. What's that?
What was the date that takes us up to that cutoff point where there's the next break again? What was the date?
January 22nd is Burnley at home. It's a Saturday.
Yeah.
That could get moved. Who knows? But then we're off for about 2. So 22nd, 31st, 9th. Yeah. Then there's a 2-week break. So it's got to be international.
And then by the time that break is over, the window is shut. So we'll know what we've got. We will know what tools we have.
Yep. And that's what takes us to the end of the year.
Coming back from that, what we got then for what we've got to the middle of February?
Saturday the 5th is the 4th round of the FA Cup. So given we win our FA Cup match in January, we play an FA Cup match on Saturday the 5th. Then we come back Tuesday the 8th of February to play Wolves at the Molineux.
Okay. And then after that,
Chelsea away.
What date's that?
The 12th of February, Saturday.
Yeah. And then
Brentford at home. That's the 19th of February.
Brentford then. Brentford's my marker.
Hell, wait a minute. You want the one after that to round out February?
What do you just go through the whole fucking schedule? What are we talking about? What are we talking about now? What are you doing?
Well, wait a minute. Hang on, because after that, no, I'm kidding. Point being, go back. AFCON, we're talking about depth.
Yeah, you talking about fucking Brentford.
But no, Castan just kept going, and it was really funny because we knew
I was going to keep going.
For me, then the Brentford game is when I'm going to be looking again at where we are. Brentford.
Here's what I'm.
Because
Here's,
we would have
here's
seen
my,
where we would have seen how we would have dealt with all these players going. We would have seen if he's going to be backed. If he is backed, how does he spend that money? Can we attract players? When we get the players in, how do we play with them? So I think Brentford, 19th of February, Brentford. So that's a nice time to say, okay, where are we?
I'll circle back to the point I wanted to make with Ryan, and the well, let's just let the chips fall where they may in January and not worry about depth. That's 9 points potentially that we could drop. I mean, Burnley at home, yeah, okay, we should beat Burnley at home without Thomas Partey, without Aubameyang. We should be able to beat them at home. But the Scum away with a full nearly 3 months with Antonio Conte as the manager, and
No, let's all jack him off. Who gives a
fucking
fuck?
and fucking City on New Year's Day.
They're gonna. All right, so that's what I wanted to say. You wouldn't let me talk. They're gonna play the Partey, Aubameyang. They're playing City. AFCON
Okay,
doesn't-
all right. So that'll eliminate.
AFCON
Okay,
doesn't
all right.
start till January 9th. So the 9th is a Sunday. When we play them on the 1st, that's a Saturday.
It's a Saturday. Yeah, it's a Saturday.
So they have a whole week. So we're gonna
Well,
have them against
Are
Man
they?
City.
I mean, do you know that for a fact, or are you assuming because there's a weekend? Because I don't know when they're going to leave for training. When do they leave?
They'd
for
probably
training with their
leave the day
international?
because okay. So hold on, I just had my calendar.
I don't know. I get your point. I'm not arguing. I'm not trying to be
so-
argumentative. I just I'm
Yeah,
just
the
my point is
Sunday.
this.
It's yeah. They're if anything they would leave the 2nd. That's Sunday the 2nd or the 3rd. The Monday the 3rd. They'll train the 3rd, the 4th, the 5th, the 6th, the 7th, the 8th, and then the 9th is the first
The
set
ninth
of
is
games.
the first,
But not every team. I think it's just it's
not every
Cameroon
team plays that first day.
Cameroon, Burkina Faso, Ethiopia, and Cape Verde. None of our players play for the team, so it's not the biggest.
Well, that's I just don't like the well, okay, you know what? Fuck it. I don't like the fact that who did this? Like who put AFCON right in the middle of the Premier League?
It got pushed back because of the pandemic.
If we get to that Brentford
play it
game
in the summertime.
If we get to that Brentford game and we're still contending for at least Europa League spot, and we're still in the cup games that you've just mentioned, that's got to be a good thing.
I think I'm naive.
I don't understand. 19th of February, and we're out of both of those cup games, and we're like fucking like bums twitching because we're well out of the fucking Europa. Then that's not going to be good. Right.
All right. I'm probably being naive, but with this whole Africa Cup thing, what do you call it? AFCOM? Is that the name of it?
The Africa Cup of Nations.
I don't want to be disrespectful, but how come nobody?
Someone's getting cancelled. Sorry.
Thank you for that societal warning, Stan. I'm just saying, as if I was in charge of Arsenal, I would be like, I pay you. Where you going? No, you stay here and play.
Yeah, that's so easy. It's so easy.
And Glenn, I agree 100% with you. I'm paying you. They do get paid, but not like they get paid by the clubs. I'm paying your wages, but it really okay. Look, you have a choice to make because hey, we have a job to do here too.
Mm-hmm.
But the players in this sport in this day and age wield all of the power.
Yeah, absolutely.
They would just wait. You're not going to let me play for my country? Well, then sell me, and I'm going to go find a club that will pay me roughly what you're paying me, and I'm still going to go play for my country. Or somehow or other they'd figure out a way to weasel out of their contract, and they would just go play for their country. I agree with you, Glenn.
And the reason why that point resonates with me so much because there's a part of me that believes that Aubameyang is saving himself for this competition because it's his last international.
You really hate him, don't you?
No, not at all. I just think that because of the age that he is, I think that is his last maybe chance to make a mark on an international level for his country, and I just think he's maybe saving himself a little bit. Some players do that.
We're not talking about the World Cup. Who won AFCON?
Whoa! Cancelled. Get him out of here.
What does that mean, canceled?
I've said this before with Aubameyang.
We'd just like to say that the views of Glenn of New York do not portray the views of the actual show.
Well, I didn't say anything disrespectful.
I think it's better than
It's not like I said men don't deserve 2 months. Men don't deserve 2 months off for paternity leave, which is a ridiculous thing they're trying to push in this country now.
Oh, here we go, Glenn. Keep going. Keep thinking, Glenn. Keep thinking. I'm thinking.
No. I'm done. I dug my grave about 3 feet. Another 3 feet, I'm gone. So
as far as Aubameyang goes, and Stan, you mentioned this earlier, that it does suck for him that this drop in play, this drop in form coincided with the new contract, because that's what everybody attributes it to, the Mesut Ozil thing. Like, okay, you got the contract. He's like, I got my money. I'm good. I don't want to play. I don't think that's it. I legitimately believe it's a change in tactics and formation from the manager, and not letting him play the way he's supposed to play, the way that he wants to play. And as I just said, that the players wield all the power, in terms of contract and all that. But this is really something where you look at a player who has been one of the most prolific strikers in the world and over the last decade, and you say, well, I know you did this and you were really, really great at doing this, but guess what? We're going to do this now.
Yeah.
And it completely stripped him of everything that he's used to doing. And you're just I don't think it is Aubameyang. I think it's the system.
I think you're giving too much credit to Aubameyang tactics.
My only argument against that is, if I wasn't seeing Aubameyang getting himself into good scoring positions and missing in front of goal, then I'd agree with you. Because
how many times does he do that?
He does two things. He's either, I saw it in the Liverpool game again, I saw him trying to cross the ball into the middle. When I see that, I agree with you, because I'm like, well, how can that be the tactic where he's trying to cross
where
balls
he's
in?
the crossover, right?
I've also seen him in the penalty box, and he's shanking it wide, and he's missing penalties, for fuck's sake.
Well, but could that not?
Blame Arteta. He can't take penalties anymore.
Could it not be? Is it outside the realm of possibilities to think that the change in tactics and the change in system, and Arteta wanting Aubameyang to play a certain way on the left, has just completely destroyed his confidence when it comes to penalties? No, it's not possible.
It's possible. I don't think it's happening.
It might not. Maybe it's not probable.
To miss, then I'd say yeah. If he wasn't actually getting into those positions that I've seen him missing, then I'd be like, what's going on with these tactics? He's not getting into the right positions to put them away. But I've seen him missing so many now.
BG has been saying this for such a long time. I'm coming around to his theory of what he's saying. I mean, before we even became friends, and I first saw you, BG, and I'm like, who's this Civil War reenactor talking about Arsenal? I said to myself, I said, no, it's not that.
Hey, I grew up a half hour from Gettysburg, so.
But seriously, I'm starting to think you're right about this, BG.
You know what? I mean, honest to God, I think I don't want Glenn to agree with me all of a sudden for me to change my tune. I think it's both. I think there's a lot of things that factor into this. I don't think the contract is one of them. I think it's Aubameyang's age. Not that he's old in the grand scheme of things. For Christ's sake,
you think confidence?
I think it's his confidence,
but you don't think contract is a possibility.
Here's the thing, right?
I don't. Not like the Mesut Ozil thing with the. I just don't see that in him.
Look, here's the thing with Aubameyang.
I do.
Right? I understand that he's had things in personal life, the COVID, malaria, blah blah blah. But I said it before when I've seen him. There's clips of him on when he's on international duty. His body demeanor looks so much different. And to go on top of that, I was fiddling around on YouTube just the other week. And there's a channel, this guy that does raps for like fucking sports cars in London. And Aubameyang's a big customer of his.
I saw that, yeah.
And he was just up there again, and it's up to him what he does in his private life with his Lamborghinis. But he looked bouncy, happy. You know what I mean? He looked light. And then I see the guy come out for Arsenal and he looks like he's got the world on his shoulders. And I'm thinking to myself, I just think to myself, all that wrapping of your fucking Lamborghinis that you're getting done. Remember how you get that money? You could get that for playing football for Arsenal. They allow you to live that lifestyle. And it annoys me that for 90 minutes, you look like someone's pissed in your cornflakes. And then every time I see you on social media doing these other things, it's not like you're keeping your head down and you're depressed and there's problems and worries me. I see you doing all these other things and you're happy as Larry.
Well, think about this. Think about this.
When you're fucking shirt, I see a different demeanor. That's just my observation.
Yeah, Stan, you're right, and I'll tell you why. You're absolutely right. I'll tell you why.
Please say it's because he plays on the left side of the pitch. I'm coming in hot.
No,
I'm coming in hot. Say it.
No.
Say it.
No.
Please say it.
It's because it's work.
Yeah.
It's work. What a lot of folks don't understand when it comes to professional athletes, we're fans. We bleed for this. This is their job. This is their job. It's what they do. Just like Ryan, you work at the grocery store. Glenn, I don't know what you do, but whatever it is you do, that's your job. Stan, you got
smoking weed and casting
Stan, you're an actor. That's when you go to the set, are you bouncy and happy and thrilled? I mean, sure, you have your good days, but it's work. At the end of the day, it's work, and for them, it's a job. It's a profession.
But it shouldn't. But it would appear
that he no longer likes his day job.
And okay, right, sure, okay. So if he doesn't like his job, why? What? Because there was a time when, your point is he used to look happy and full of life and full of energy, and now it's gone. What changed?
Just playing the fucking left side of the pitch.
I see it.
No, I'm not saying that. I mean, that's.
Everywhere else he looks all right. When I see him at Arsenal, it just looks like it's like you're. I mean, if it's the job, then go to a different company, change company, whatever it is.
I agree.
Give up the armband. Give up the armband. Then maybe if he's a captain.
I agree with that. Sure. But I mean, think about it. I mean, we're here talking about him right now. Now we're nothing. He doesn't even know we exist. But you said it looks like the world is on his shoulders. And I fully believe that he actually kind of feels that way because he is the striker of this team. He's the captain and he knows he's not producing. I'm not team Aubameyang and hey, everybody get off his back, stop riding him. No, you have a job to do and you're not doing your job. End up.
Rohan's hiding behind you, isn't he, with a gun?
Yeah, right.
Blaney makes a very good point. What's changed? The high press has entered into the game at the top level, and that's what's undoing Manchester United by buying Cristiano Ronaldo. Now they're nowhere. Then they're not one thing nor the other. They're not counter-attacking nor pressing.
That's us.
Yeah,
that's more often than not. That's us.
We don't do it for long enough.
I just want to say one thing because I've agreed with Stan for like 90% of the show. And it is possible, Stan, that he's not happy at Arsenal. I do acknowledge that your theory could have some basis. But for me, to get at the level Aubameyang is at, your pride would never let you underperform on purpose, willingly. That's just the way I feel.
No one's saying it's on purpose.
No, just that he's looking at Arsenal like,
I did see some sparks of the old Aubameyang in our run when other players scored. He was over there and joining in the celebrations, but he's definitely been off it, and I don't understand why. He's got everything he needs. He's the captain. He's the focal point of the club. He's being paid a fucking king's ransom. He's not being undervalued for his services. He has a nice lifestyle. When he had his problems, the club were good with him. When he had problems, they didn't fucking come with him with an iron fist. So what is it then?
He's being hamstrung in his ability to do his job.
Don't agree.
And I think
that's what it is.
Nope.
Partey syndrome of trying to do too much.
Tell me more about that. Tell me more. Let's look granular at this, right? What is it then that Mikel Arteta in these tactics that is making Aubameyang so miserable or ineffective?
BG has been preaching this forever. Go, BG.
Arteta wants you to think It's the same thing we talked about with Bukayo Saka. What's the difference between Bukayo Saka and Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang? Because when they go to international duty, they're happy. They're bouncing off the walls. They're thrilled. They're having a good. Hang on.
I don't think Saka's as happy as you think. I don't think it's such a difference. I don't see it. They don't know what their job is. Aubameyang is playing a role, like you just said, Stan. You see him crossing the ball, and it's like, that's not your job. Your job's to be on the end of the cross, right? That's his job. Well, now, again, I go back to what I said 10 minutes ago. He was player A all his career, even when we first got him in January 3 years ago, right? He was player A. He was player type A. And now here comes Arteta, and Arteta's the beginning of his tenure. Okay, when he first got here, he was like, "Yep, you're player type A. I'm going to ride with this team, and the player. This is what they're best at, and this is what we're going to do." But then the next season comes along, and what Arteta has said is, "Okay, now it's my team, and now we're going to play the way that I want to play." And he has completely stripped Aubameyang, in my opinion, of what has made him the striker that he was when he got here. Pace, creativity, taking defenders on one-on-one. And we talk about he gets into good positions and he's missing the sitters. I get the no excuse for it. I agree there. But the tactics are what have taken away from Aubameyang. And again, I go back to you look at what City did, what City does, what Pep does. That's where Mikel Arteta cut his coaching teeth. They don't value the single striker that's going to give you 30 goals a year. They want to spread it out. They want 5 players scoring 10 to 15 goals with one player bagging 20.
Why do you think it is then? I'm just asking as everybody this. Like when Aubameyang first came to us, we always played in a formation that kind of had that front three triumvirate, a bit like Liverpool and a lot of teams play. Mm-hmm. And for much of it, Aubameyang played on the left and was almost, golden boot scorer, joint golden boot scorer. A lot of fans said that we wanted to see him playing through the middle. We're now playing him more through the middle, but we're not playing him through the middle of a front three triumvirate. It's now a formation that kind of has a front two floating about each other. So what is the problem with Aubameyang? Should we fucking be putting him back out on the left? Is Aubameyang the sort of player that should be playing out from wide, like a Mane or a Salah, who are good at giving you a lot of goals in the season? And that's what he was doing, right? He was out wide, and he was challenging Salah for goals. We said a lot of people said we want him to play through the middle. He's now playing through the middle, and it's not now working out. So what is it about him?
I also think part of it, Stan, is the players that are around him. I also think that the players around him, defenses don't fear. Defenses can say, well, we don't need to worry about those guys because they're not going to score, right? Lacazette is just flat out too far away from goal to really put in a strong chance. You know what I mean? Bukayo Saka can't finish for Arsenal. He can't spell finish for Arsenal, let alone actually do it. He's fine for England. ESR really is the only other goal scoring threat that we have from open play. So what do? They can just take Aubameyang. I'm not saying they're playing great defense against him, but he plays so far. He plays out wide so far, right? And Ryan, correct me if I'm wrong, but he's there. Arteta, you said it earlier. He plays wide. He almost stretches the field width-wise too much.
Who
now
plays wide?
Saka and Aubameyang.
I don't agree.
You think they're narrow enough? I don't think they're narrow.
I don't know what your fascination with Aubameyang on the left side is. He does not play on the left side. He plays in the middle of the field. He plays in the midfield against Liverpool. Play the middle field against whoever the fuck you want to say against this season. He's played midfield every time. The problem we push.
Where's Lacazette then? So Lacazette's playing behind.
He's further back. Yeah. Yes.
I don't know what you're seeing because every time I see Aubameyang,
we have to watch. I wanted to say it's early in the show. We need to watch a game because Aubameyang has been in front of Lacazette, and then sometimes they'll.
I'm not saying he hasn't been in front of him, but not directly in front of him.
Close to directly. Yeah.
He's always on the left. He's always to the left.
So hold on. So where's Tavares, who's pressing field? Where's Tierney, press midfield. Where's ESR?
They come inside and then they overlap on the outside.
Tierney has never overlapped the Aubameyang since he's played for us this season. I don't know where you're getting. We got to watch the game together,
and he probably should, because then he would have the cut. Then he would have the cutback with Aubameyang.
Yeah, I guess we're never going to agree because we're seeing two different things. Because I don't know what you're talking about.
All right. Now,
go ahead, go.
Just give me 30 seconds.
Go 30. 29.
Shut the fuck up, Ryan. Look, part of the reason I got back on the fence about Arteta from the Arteta outside is that after the summer transfer window, after Tomiyasu, I'm sure a lot of people can relate to this. I was like, what the fuck did we do? And you know what? Right now, we're in the feeling out process of having a fantastic summer transfer window. The fast progression of players like ESR and Saka, and we're trying to figure it all out right now. And Arteta had a major part in getting all 5 of those players we're all excited about. So I think that, right now we're still playing with parts. Nothing's settled yet. That's why I'm not giving up on the strikers. The defense is solid. And to me, midfield is the major problem. And that could solve so many of our problems.
I mean, I did say that. I do think, again, I think it's with Aubameyang. I just think it's a culmination of a lot of factors. The midfield being as weak as it is one. The only thing that I would say I don't think is a factor is just I just don't think I don't think he got the contract and said, I'm done. I don't need to
ask you guys a question.
That's the only thing I don't think is a part of it.
May I ask you guys a question? Everybody in the chat box, are we at this stage then where we would like now to move on from Aubameyang, or do you think he still has a part to play in this team and we should persevere with him?
Ryan?
We should be moving on from him, but I think he has. And then that's kind of why I brought the whole Pepe situation up. We need to find a solution, because Lacazette going in the summer. Eddie's probably going this summer. Martinelli isn't a striker for us right now. And then you have 2 players in our academy who are going out on loan. They're not going to be ready for us next season.
Who are they?
Balogun and Bareth. I can never say his name. He plays for Denmark, I think.
What's happening with John Jules then, that other kid? Nothing.
I don't think
he was on the periphery, wasn't he?
I haven't heard. Yeah, he was like the bee's knees. Yeah, I don't know what he's been up to. I think he's on loan. But even him, he's not really a striker. John Jules is more of, again, he's a Pepe type player. He's a forward. He's like a right forward. I think he's a left forward. But I just don't think we could realistically see. It's funny because I think we realistically can make top 4 even with Aubameyang, just because I think it's just a shit show. Because I think you have Man City, you have Chelsea, you have Liverpool. They're in a league of their own. Yeah, they'll drop points here and there, but they're the 3. They're just sit up top, waving down at all of us, all the peasants. So
it's amusing that we're all sitting here talking about strikers and what we should do and blah blah blah, and it just made me chuckle that you look over at Man City and they don't even bother with fucking strikers.
Yeah. Gabriel Jesus doesn't even start for them now. So
he plays on the right, doesn't he? They play him on the right.
Yeah, he plays on the right, but as games he doesn't even
they
start.
They play midfielder in the middle.
Yeah, it's crazy. So I don't know.
Maybe that's what we've got to look forward to.
I think we could sneak in at that 4th spot, but then to build on that, I don't think Aubameyang is gonna build on that. We need an upgrade, and like I said, the promising young strikers that are doing bits in the academy for us, they're not ready.
Can I just say to Riddy, I think we stopped paying Ozil's wages in June of this year. It's done now. But up until June, July, we were still paying it.
We talk about Lacazette and Aubameyang, like, oh, which one can we let go? None until we have another striker to replace them. Like Ryan just said, there's nobody at the academy who's going to come up and be some fucking magic fairy goal scorer.
So, Glenn, you agree we need a striker?
You're such a little dick.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
Right, like a Bond villain. It's like, I believe that's checkmate, Mr. Bond.
No, I was referring to all the talk and tweets I see about Aubameyang and Lacazette. I don't think either one can go anywhere until unless we get another striker. You kidding me? Who wants? You guys want Nketiah?
So
Well, he's got
to
it.
Stan's question, is it time to move on from Aubameyang or do we persist with him? Well, the caveat to that question is, if we move on, do we obviously we replace. You can't just let someone walk and not replace them.
Okay. All right. So, well, saying that, wait till Aubameyang gets hot and then have the stones to sell him.
Well,
when you can get more money for him. But the Arsenal fan base does this all the time. If Aubameyang scores 4 goals in the next 5 games, oh no, we can't sell him. That's when you sell.
We're not going to sell him, Glenn. No one's going to buy him.
I'm Stan, to answer your question, I am in the camp of it is time to move on. Unfortunately, I do think it will be difficult to do that because of his wages, because of his lack of performance, really. I mean, overall, when you look at it, he's had moments of brilliance followed by hours of disappointment, as I so often like to say.
Yeah.
His wages coupled with that just are going to make it near impossible to move him on unless he forces his way out and finds a taker. You know what I mean? Or if we do what we did with Ozil and pay part of his wages. But it's time. I mean, don't renew him by any stretch of the imagination. I'm not renewing him at all. I said it last year. I'd sell him. I was thrilled when he signed his contract. I was thrilled when he signed the extension. Thrilled because I thought he was going to continue to do what he did.
I did raise
that FA Cup run.
Oh, when Arteta was managing, about it, right?
Sorry?
Yeah,
right, Tanner.
A very different way.
Oh, okay.
I mean,
but Arteta was the manager, right?
He was, and he was still new enough in the job where, again, he was looking at the players, saying, "Okay, this is." I literally just read something about this when he first came in, and this is what a good coach does. Okay, a new coach, not new to the job as a coach per se, but a new coach with a new team. Now Arteta's new to the job overall, but you come in, you look at the team that you have, knowing that the team isn't going to change, right? This doesn't work the way American sports do, where as long as we're before the trade deadline, trade them. Let's start making some deals here. There was no way to make a deal, right? So Arteta looks at his team and he says, "This is what I have." So now he's evaluating talent. Okay, well, where are you best suited to play? How are you best suited to play? And he did that through the FA Cup run not his first full year, but you know what I mean. The following season, in his first full season, is when he said, "Done with that. You're going to play the way I want you to play. I'm going to reinvent you as a player if need be." And he hasn't done it. He has not really reinvented any of these players. Alex Lacazette might be the exception to that rule. Beyond that, he has not reinvented any of the players into being something they weren't before. If anything, players like Aubameyang have digressed. The younger players, sure, they've come through. I mean, you can't say that Aubameyang has.
But we have nothing but younger players, so I don't understand where you're coming from.
Aubameyang.
Yeah, but you're saying nobody's progressed under Arteta. Well, everybody's
no. I didn't say no one has. No, I did not say no one has progressed.
Can we? Yeah, I think you did. Fine. Who cares? Okay, you didn't say no.
I said players like Aubameyang, meaning the older players, have digressed under Arteta. Lacazette being the exception to that statement.
And then
ESR has progressed. Bukayo Saka has progressed. These players have absolutely.
But yeah, exactly. You said older players like Aubameyang have not progressed. Who is older besides Aubameyang? Partey and Lacazette.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good. Yeah, Aubameyang might be okay. So Aubameyang might be the guy.
Only one. And Partey.
But when he is the guy counted on to score goals. Why are you trying to change the player that he is?
Kolasinac? No, Kolasinac. Sorry.
You see, you know what I'm saying? I mean, it
I
just
just don't know.
I think it's I will not die on the hill of this is the only reason that he's not performing the way he did. But I think Arteta's tactics with him are part of it. I'm not going to die on the hill that it's the only thing, but I will die on the hill that it's part of it. I think Arteta has in trying to mold the team into what he wants to do, which is right. He's doing the right thing. That's what a coach should do, right? But not with him. He's your captain. He's the face of your team, and he's your goal scorer. You don't change what he does.
You do.
That's like going to the goalkeeper and saying, right, this is like going to Manuel Neuer saying, right, you've been this kind of a goalkeeper your whole life, your whole career, but we're going to change things up and you're going to play this way now.
I mean, it's kind of what we did with Leno. It didn't work. We brought in Ramsdale. Now look at us.
Man, Bernd Leno isn't Manuel Neuer. But
the difference is we just went to Leno and said, would you mind speaking, please, in your area?
Yeah, just
say something.
Anyway,
I mean, I why would you? But I guess I want to wrap this up. But the one thing I will say is, we have bigger fish to fry. I'm more worried about the 6 players we signed and the other 9 to 10 players that start for us week in, week out, who are fitting the age profile, becoming part of the youngest team in the Premier League. I'm not worried about fucking suiting Aubameyang just because he wears a fucking black and white armband around his arm.
That's the next step, isn't it? What you do is you don't get rid of Aubameyang and bring in another 30-year-old striker. You get rid of Aubameyang and you maybe bring in someone who's about 26. But the difference is he comes in with he comes in after having a chat with the manager and saying, this is why we're buying you. This is what we want you to do. This is what we're doing. And he comes in and he's a part of that. Yeah. Rather than trying to fit Aubameyang into this fucking new regime, you bring someone who buys into it from day one.
Yep.
And we're still there. And you remember what I said some months ago? I said, until we get rid of every single player that was part of the Arsenal, when Wenger was still the manager, the rebuild will never start in earnest. Yeah, and that's Lacazette, Aubameyang, Callum Chambers, Rob Holding, Aneni, Kolasinac. Right, they're still the ones that they all need to go, and I'm grateful that the majority of them are on the periphery anyway.
Right,
but there's a couple that still are integral.
Aubameyang and Aubameyang's one of those players.
Very integral to what we're doing. Until that's gone, and that sweeps the decks, and these people come in under the fucking perfume of Mikel Arteta, it will never be a rebuild in earnest. Because it's going to be
your sarcasm stand is dripping through my monitor. I will agree with you. Since you're saying, all right, we replace Aubameyang with someone proven who's younger, I'll play along with that. I know it's more sexy to talk about strikers. So yeah, I'll buy that. As far as everything else, we'll just fucking bitch.
Large Marge is in the house. Large Marge say otherwise.
Lord.
I said that loud enough. You guys heard what I just said. I thought I said I didn't whisper. All right, let me say my thing and then I'll listen to you guys. Okay. Oh my God. So I like what I've seen so far with Arsenal. I love our young players. I'm proud that we have the youngest team in the Premier League, and I think we're going to battle for top 6. And I'm willing to be a little more patient with the team than some of you guys. But that'll be my final thoughts. I'll sit back and just listen now.
I agree. I like where we are. I mean, just the Aubameyang centric talk. And Stan, everything you just said. Somebody about the age of 26. Right, that's yeah. I don't know how old Ivan Toney is. I will tell you that there is something I like.
20.
You guys like him?
Is he 20? Is he Is he right there?
He's really young.
Anyway, we're up against it here, and I know that Glenn has to go. So Ryan, I'm going to throw it to you.
25.
I mean, Glenn Stan, perfect.
Could you guys just tell me who does Tony play for? Does anybody know?
Brentford.
Okay, thank you.
Ryan, final thought. We're up against 2 hours here. So.
Yeah. I know we kind of really talked about strikers like the whole show, but yeah, I'm not beating us up over the 4-0. I know the score looks bad, but I think Liverpool played their best game this season. Maybe even you can include last season. They killed it. They weren't scared of us, and why should we when we have less goals than Newcastle? So I think they went balls to the walls as they normally do, and they didn't care because they knew we had no threat. With that being said, I'm excited for Newcastle. I think we're gonna win. We're gonna get 3 points. I'm excited to see if we keep the same thing or if maybe he wants to change it up because when you look at it on the face, you see okay, you lost 4-0 in a match. So yeah, maybe he has people breathing down his neck trying to change things up. I don't really think we should, but I like I said, this is the last. Obviously, it's the last words. My last thing I'm gonna say, but we got to figure the striker thing out. And if it means maybe doing the same thing, maybe throwing Martinelli up there or throwing Lacazette up there and playing Odegaard and ESR, I don't know. I just think we got to figure it out because January is a coming, and I think we're going to see more outgoings and incomings, but I would like to see at least one incoming, preferably a striker.
Yeah. Stan, shout out the chat and final word, please.
Yeah, I just want to say a big up to everyone that comes in the chat box and listens to us every week. There's going to be a name change coming up to this show soon, right? So stay tuned. We are going to be going through a small rebranding process. But Mike Hurt, Stay Fresh, Football with Brownie, Riddy, Your Sentiment FC, Love Arsenal, Hate Cronky. Thanks for coming in. I don't think if I missed anybody. Mike Hertz was in there as well. Everyone that comes in here, thanks a lot. We appreciate it. It's just 4 guys chatting about Arsenal. And we love that we have the regular guys coming in with us every week. And as the next match comes up now for me, I want to see that Liverpool was a blip, that we got a little bit outscored by a team that's in a better place than us. But with Newcastle, we school them and we take 3 points. If we come away from that game and we look like we're playing, with our heads up our arses, then rightfully so, we should be able to look at that and dissect it. But I expect 3 points. Why should we be the ones that allows the team that haven't won all season, let them win against the team next week if they have to win.
Exactly.
Don't let it be us. Why should we be the one that breaks their duck, right? There's other teams that can do that, not us. Thank you very much. And I love Newcastle. Sentiment to Newcastle for family ties, but not this weekend. 3 points, please.
Amen.
Yeah. Most important game on the schedule is always which one, fellas?
Next one.
The next one. So Newcastle is up, and everything that Stan just said. I'm not interested in being the side that allowed Newcastle their first win of the season.
No.
So this is the cowboy up moment for Arsenal Football Club, for these young players. You just got thrashed 4-0 by a better team. Let's not, and I don't know that I wholeheartedly agree with Ryan that they played their absolute best game of the last year plus, but they played very well. I think we had a little something to do with that, but Liverpool played very well. The other team get paid to play too. I've said that how many times as well. But
I don't know if you can blame us for 3 to 4 goals. I mean, the Aubameyang foul, obviously the first one,
right,
but
what just happened? You are frozen. I think everybody's nope. Stan
doing the robot because I don't give a fuck. But yeah, I mean, it was 3 perfect executed goals. I mean,
am I coming through? Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, I can hear you. And if my wife kills me, I'm gonna haunt all 3 of you motherfuckers.
No, go, Glenn. Go do what you need to do. We're out of here. Bottom line.
Dan,
fellas,
don't look so serious. I'm joking.
It's cowboy up time. Go get 3 points against Newcastle.
I'm just holding my wee in the toilet. I'm holding it in.
All right. That's it for us. We're out of here. We will be back with more great Arsenal talk next Tuesday for sure. And hopefully a show in between, show or two in between now and then. Stay tuned for that. So as always, gentlemen, everyone in the chat, it has been good footy talk. We will see you out there.